Welcome back. This is our APM PFQ video series. That's the Project Fundamentals qualification. And this is the 7th edition guide. And in this video, we are looking at the business case. So what is the purpose of a business case? Now remember, this is according to APM in the context of a project, because a business case is a standard business tool. The purpose of the business case in project management is to ensure that we're having accountability for the expenditure of our funds. So part of that is to do an investment appraisal. That is, how much money are we spending and what are we getting for it? So basically, is it value for money? In order to do this, we're going to do an analysis of what we're going to gain from this, and we like to use that term benefits. So what are the benefits from this activity we're going to get? And of course, what are the costs of getting those benefits? The business case also serves as a common reference point for progress. So the business case summarizes what we want to do and why we want to do it, including what we're going to get out of it, those benefits. It means throughout the life of that project, and even beyond the life of that project, we can refer back to the business case to make sure that we are still on track to achieve those objectives. And part of that business case purpose is not just, can we deliver this project, is it worthwhile, but a consideration of those more strategic risks. What happens if we do this project? How will that impact our future as a business, our ability to operate, but also what happens if we don't do this project? So consider the introduction of the GDPR legislation, where many organisations were forced to undertake changes with their organisation to ensure they would be compliant with their law. So the benefit to the organisation of doing that is to remain compliant with a new law coming in. It's not to introduce new sales or market share or to improve processes necessarily to save time. It's about staying compliant. So the strategic risk of not completing that project was opening the organisation up to legal activities, to fines and things like this. So the typical content that you might find in a business case within a project management context is a description of the background of the situation. So what is the current situation and why do you need to change, or why do you wish to change? What are the benefits that are going to be achieved by undertaking this change, this activity? What kind of financial support is going to be needed to achieve those objectives? So there's going to be some estimating and assumptions about costs that need to be spent. What are the risks involved in actually undertaking the activity itself? So again, are we going to fundamentally impact our business by running this project? If we pull everybody off of the main line in order to do this project, what happens to those business as usual activities? The business case gets us to focus on different ways we potentially can achieve that same outcome, that same change, those same benefits. So we are considering like for like and comparing our options in a quantitative way to make decisions on the best way forward. Not every business case, but many business cases will also have an indicative timeline. So an expected duration that project will need to run, or at least it needs to be completed by this date. It will sometimes also talk about any constraints, such as there is only this amount of money available, or we have to be compliant with X, Y, and Z. So those constraints, they're not optional. The project manager would have to work within those constraints and is not allowed to breach them no matter what. And also our business case may talk about our key stakeholders. It very much depends on the project that you are undertaking. It could be that there are legislative bodies that need to be considered right up front and become part of those key stakeholders, and may need to be involved in discussions of what it is you wish to achieve. So going back to the previous video where we looked at the roles that various people play, these people also come into the construction of the business case. So we're going to look at their individual roles in the next few minutes. So when we look at that project board, remember that their job is to develop the strategic direction for the organization, and ultimately they are the ones who will agree to undertake the project. So their job when it comes to the business case is to define that need for change, to understand the environment within which the organization is operating, and continue to monitor that environment and ensure that the change that is proposed continues to be a benefit to the organization. The project sponsor, who is a member of that project board and the one identified to take forward the idea, this need for change, is effectively the owner of that business case, and they will be taking that forward to develop it. That does not necessarily mean that they are writing the entire business case, but they are responsible for making sure that it is written, it is complete, and it is as accurate as possible. One person in control of that document. Of course, the project sponsor is not an expert on everything. That's why we have project managers. So project managers will be able to get involved with the business case from a point of view of the reality of actually making this happen in the real world. They are the ones who have to turn this idea into tangible products and benefits at the end of the day, and they're going to have valuable insights where they can feed back into that process around a way to proceed, a potential expenditure, a potential time frame, and be able to use their expertise to fill out some of those details. Project managers are not always involved in that business case, which can cause its own problems. So the sooner we get the project manager and their expertise involved, the more likely we're going to end up with a rigorous business case that can be turned into reality. We mustn't forget our end users. So the people who are going to be operating the products that come out of our project, they are going to have insight into the operation of the new goods and services that come out of the project. They're going to be able to input what it needs to do, why that benefit actually won't be a benefit, and what else could happen that would make it more beneficial. So cutting those out, we are losing a lot of opportunities to ensure that our money is well spent and we're getting maximum benefits from it. We may access subject matter experts, because they have, like the project manager, they've got a detailed understanding of particular areas and can flag critical high strategic risks or significant challenges about the project, or significant costs that we need to be concerned about. So consider we may have a legal expert who's involved with writing of the business case to advise along the way, or a highly technical engineer who's going to be able to say, this is a way that you can approach that. The way you're proposing isn't the right way to go about it. They're going to bring that expertise. And the last one on here is potentially our suppliers, because again, like subject experts, they know their products and the use of their products generally much better than the customer. So we may want to consider speaking with those suppliers. Do you have, in your experience, any advice on the way we can proceed to achieve the goals we want to? They may be able to identify an alternative product or method from their experience from dealing with other clients with their supplies, about how you could go about it. So we wouldn't want to miss out on that experience. Now, the other point of the business case, apart from evaluating all of those cost versus reward, is we need to consider what the benefits management side of this is. So the business case is about deciding if those benefits are achievable and the cost of achieving them. So what we want to do, can we do it or should we do it considering those costs? What we're going to take forward is benefits management that's going to pass on through the project manager to the next area. So that's benefits management is about identifying and defining the benefits from the business case in more detail, making sure that we're able to measure and understand, have we achieved that benefit? A benefit to increase profit isn't a very good structured target. A benefit to increase profit by 10% is a measurable one, so we would want to define that. Benefits management is also, of course, about planning delivery of objectives. So the products, the services, the outputs that we're going to actually deliver that will provide those benefits for us. And benefits management is about tracking our projects to ensure we are in fact delivering those benefits. And then at the end of the project, once we've completed everything else and we have our overall product that can be put into the real world and becomes part of our business as usual, we should see those benefits or realize those benefits, to use the correct term. So benefits management often is something that the project manager does, but it ties directly to the business case, and it's part of the project sponsor's role is to make sure that they are tracking those benefits through to ensure that that's actually what we're going to get at the end of the day. That brings us to the end of the business case. It's quite a small topic. Obviously, the business case itself can get very complicated depending on your project, but it could also be quite a basic document written on one side of A4. Depends on the complexity of your project. It depends how much investigation and research needs to be done in order for you to make those important decisions. In our next video, we're going to look at the different structures we can use for our projects or our project life cycles so that we know which is going to fit best for the type of project we're doing. Thank you for watching. Leave a comment, leave a like, and if you're not subscribed, please do so, and then you'll be notified of the next video. Thank you.